Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Story number 1. Malicious Compliance, written by Deobic. There was a well-known joke that always gets an annoyed chuckle from humans and a rueful amusement from others. How do you get a human to do something? Tell them that they can't do it. Ha ha, very funny. Oh, silly humans with their defiance and legendary stubbornness. Practically everyone knows one of those stories. You say, don't eat the Oasis ration bar, it's made of pure capsaicin. And what does the human do? Eat 3 of them. Well, my story isn't one of the usual kind. Most beings fail to realize that humans are aware that outright defiance has its limits. But as everyone knows, humans are stubborn. They find a way to get what they want. It happened several years ago, when I was still a greenling. Back then, I had the thankless job of the contractor, going from company to company, fixing problems with the internet. I was hired out to a human corporation that had suffered from connectivity issues. When I arrived there, the mood was positively horrid. Oh, not because of me. Humans are not very xenophobic, and my kind have worked closely with them for centuries, being each other's first contacts. It's the reason that I was hired out in the first place. The Tsenan and the humans have a treaty allowing the free access of workers. Sorry, I'm getting off topic again. I'm not very good at storytelling. There's a reason I work with computers. Back to my time with the human corporation. I quickly became good friends with a human named Tim. Being a fellow grunt, we would often spend our lunch breaks together. It was through him that I learned about what was the term? Yes, the hostile takeover. The boss humans didn't want their company to be bought out, but they had no choice due to financial finagles that I still know nothing about. It fucking sucks, said Tim, using a phrase of general disgruntlement. He supped at his cup of disgusting coffee, looking unhappier as he drank it. I can't believe that we were bought out by that stupid gang of yuckters. Quick-faced fat mutant fish. All right, humans are xenophobic sometimes, especially when angry. I nodded and bared my teeth in a human smile. That was generally enough encouragement to keep him going. They want us to reconstruct everything. He took another sip of his coffee and grimaced. Those stupid blowfish plan to cripple us so they can buy our tech and shut us down. And did you see the ugly abomination they sent us as our new boss? Dickface is trying to make our life miserable. How dare it tell us to be more rule-abiding? Doesn't even know any of the rules. Its name is Drekfus, I corrected. Yeah, Dickface, that's what I said. He laughed to himself, showing his teeth in a way that seemed more threatening than friendly. I've talked to some of the other guys, and we've come up with a plan. You just wait and see. It's gonna be amazing. You shouldn't do anything rash, I fidgeted, tentacles curling. Drekfus can make your job a lot worse. Don't worry, we're gonna do exactly what he wants. Now, I can think back and laugh about it. At that moment, though, I didn't find his words to be very comforting. When I walked into work the next day, something seemed different. Everyone was quiet, too quiet. Tim was tapping away at his computer, and I approached him with a quizzical twitch of my tentacles. What does, He hissed in a way that meant silence, gesturing for me to sit down. Play along and don't say anything. Act like you're working. Trust me, it'll be good. Though I was still puzzled, I followed his directions. Barely a second had passed before Drekfus slithered in. Human Tim, it moaned. Have you the blueprints? I have asked for them several days, and your performance is severely lacking. Tim swiveled in his chair. His expression was curiously still and bland. Sorry, but I can't hand the blueprints to anyone unless they fill out a DF98-C and send a copy to HR. What? Drekfus' mouth opened and closed. I was not required to fill out any forms before. Yes, but since you asked us to follow the regulations, Tim shrugged. Its bulbous eyes blinked. Well, give me the form so that I can fill it out. Sorry, I'm not authorized to. Tim turned away and continued typing. Then who is Lin Chen? Breakfast turned to the light to the shade violet. Human Lin Chen, give me form DF98-C. Lin looked up from her computer. Form DF98-C cannot be accessed without a signed copy of DF54, DF55, and DF56. Furthermore, I need confirmation of identity. It blinked again. I have my company-issued ID right here, exclaimed Breakfast, holding up a thin plastic square. Lin took it gingerly, carefully avoiding the pink slime on the back. Unfortunately, this expired yesterday. You'll have to get another copy. His scales were turning darker and darker. And where do I get another ID? You can't get it without proof of ID. How do I get proof of ID in order to get ID? I need the ID so that I can prove my identity, it screeched. That's what Form CB343-D is for. I marveled at Lin's ability to talk without emotion. In my opinion, that was what flustered Breakfast more. I couldn't be sure if she was mocking him or not. Breakfast breathed in deeply, 7 nostrils flaring. Dad, give me Form CB343-C. I'm not authorized to. And who is? You are. Then I authorize myself to give me the form. His eyeballs were spinning wildly in their sockets. You can't do that without filling out Form K83-2. You're being deliberately obstructive. His scales were dark and they were almost black. No, said Tim, not even looking at Breakfast. We're being rule-abiding. That was the final straw. With a wordless scream, Breakfast slid out. After the door shut, everyone in the room began celebrating. Well, just you wait, guys. Tim slapped his hand against my tentacle. This is just the beginning. A few months later, Yididic returned to the company to its former management, citing some bogus reading about finances. However, I knew the truth. Everyone had followed the rules, but they had done it in a way that made the Yididic miserable. While it is true that the humans are amazing at disobeying the rules, they're even better at following them. So if you want a human to do something, be careful about how you ask them, because you might just get what you asked for. End of story. Story number 2. Uncanny, written by Echoing Cascade. Ambassador Peterson was having a meal with a crossed delegate. To say that it was awkward would be an understatement. The Crossed were famous as the first contact specialists. They led the meeting with new species thanks to their ability to mimic the races they interacted with. The problem was that while they came very well recommended by other alien species, they unnerved the humans. The only way to describe them was Uncanny Valley. They looked human from afar, but once you got them in the same room, everything was a little off. The supper was rather complicated by the fact that Ambassador Peterson's young daughter was present, and she was having a hard time not staring, and barely touched her food. Peterson. What's wrong with you, Beth? He knew exactly what was wrong, but he had to make a show of assuaging her fears. Beth. He is scary. Peterson gave delicate Solarson a wry smile, who blinked off-tempo and nodded far too slowly. Peterson. The aversion you feel is normal. It's like how we react to some of the fauna here on the Earth. Beth nodded and poked at her food. Like spider, snakes, junk. Peterson. Yeah, sure. We have certain reactions, though, to them, because some of them were poisonous. It is believed it's a form of evolved or inherited apprehension from our ancestors. Beth pondered this answer for a moment. Beth. Okay, that makes sense. But Dad... She looked at her father in the eyes and then pointed at the crossed delegate. Beth. Why did we evolve to fear the crossed? Peterson was about to rebuke his daughter and apologize to the delegate when a thought occurred to him. His mouth went dry, a cold sweat ran down his spine, and he gave a silent alarm to his security detail to stand ready. Peterson. Me, Mr. Solarson. You said your species had visited Earth millions of years ago. Correct? Solarson nodded extremely quickly. Solarson. Yes. Peterson. I've also noted that you have only eaten the meat part of your meal, so I have to ask, why did you visit Earth? None of the files you've made available explain the reason for your visit. Solarson stopped eating, blinked in rapid succession and seemed to hyperventilate, then became as still as a statue. Then his face split vertically. What came from his human-like husk couldn't be described even after looking at the recordings, but it turned the ambassador's hair white and killed one of his bodyguards before the others could take it down. The only mercy was, the good ambassador managed to shield his daughter's eyes from the sight. Crosts became a species non grata in every settlement, and the galaxy-wide investigation took place. This new information explained two mysteries: why so many missing reports seem to follow everywhere the Crost visited, and why humans are so adept at recognizing something that looks human, but isn't. End of story. Just a quick shout out to the T5 peeps: Bob the Dragon, Cat Crab Lobster, Data Magnet, Dark Machine, Bezic, Try Again 95, Fudic Yol, Astrea the Dreamer, Caspar Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Athelia, Meridian 117, and Jordan Bucksmorm. Thank you very much. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed. There are links down below, both to support this channel and for the author of this fiction. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic one, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.